tare ture. Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om tare ture. Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om tare ture. Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om tare ture. Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha.
Hello, and a very warm welcome to everyone. I'm Dr. Jean Carroll, and it is my great pleasure to be hosting you live from Sussex, England, for this very special edition of Lama Live with 21 Taras Collective, a musical collaboration between Dorje Lopön Chandra Easton, author of Embodying Tara, 21 Manifestations to Awaken Your Innate Wisdom, and senior teacher at Tara Mandala, and her co-founders of the 21 Taras Collective, Nina Rao and Genevieve Walker. Today, we celebrate the release of their first album, Tara Mantra Mala Volume 1, bringing the ancient mantras of the 21 Taras to life through devotional chanting and melody. Lopön Chandra brings her deep understanding of the Tibetan Buddhist practice, together with Nina Rao's lifetime of devotional chanting experience, and Genevieve Walker's exquisite musical compositions and violin mastery. Experience the transformative power of these mantras as they guide us in awakening the qualities of wisdom, compassion, and fierce protection that Tara represents. This Lama Live marks the pre-sale launch of their album, hosted by Tara Mandala, offering a unique opportunity to support this sacred musical project, while experiencing the healing vibrations of these powerful mantras firsthand. At Tara Mandala, we are committed to being a welcoming, open, and safe community for practitioners and students of all cultures, races, religions, sexuality, age, ability, and circumstance. And now, it gives me great pleasure to hand over to Lopön Chandra Easton, Nina Rao, and Genevieve Walker.
Hi everybody. Thank you so much, Jean. It's so good to be with you, and I hope the sound is good. Please let us know if it's not. That's so important. The sound is even more important than the video quality, I've learned. So I hope that there's a good sound quality for you all, the listening audience, the watching audience. It's great to be with you all and to be here with my dear sisters, Nina and Genevieve, who are zooming in together from the East Coast, and I'm here on the West Coast. And let's take a moment to settle in and arouse our heartfelt motivation for our practice and our time together, as we always do here at Tara Mandala. We take a moment before any practice and even before any endeavor to, I'm wondering if we can just mute Nina and Genevieve for while I'm talking here, because it's a little, I can hear some background sound or echo. Thank you. So let's drop in and close the eyes if that's comfortable, and take a moment to arouse our heartfelt motivation for our practice and for our celebration of this pivotal moment for us, and sharing this with you. This is a Bodhicitta, this heartfelt wish to awaken for the benefit of all beings, motivation. And there's a mudra we do with the hands together in prayer. Fold the fingers across each other except for the middle fingers. The thumbs are parallel, and this signifies our single-pointed intention to awaken for the benefit of all beings everywhere. A single-pointed intention. Feel that. Feel that in your own personal way, this deep, deep calling to bring to fruition the enlightened, the positive aspects of your own being that are already present within you, already always here and already always perfect just as you are. Watering those seeds for the benefit of yourself, for your own flourishing, and watering those seeds for the benefit of others so that we can all bloom into a beautiful refuge tree, providing shade for those in need. And also folded within this Bodhicitta prayer is the gratitude, the acknowledgement of all of our ancestors who have given us life, brought us to this very moment here together, this very breath, giving thanks and gratitude. Also to all those teachers, our spiritual ancestry in this life and in perhaps lives in the past and also in the future. All of those wisdom streams and teachers who have given us the breath of devotion and guidance that has also brought us to this very moment together. And then we also give thanks and gratitude to the earth beneath us that gives us nourishment and all the other elements. Situating ourselves on whatever land you're on, really feeling that earth grounding and supporting you. And situating myself, you can mentally or verbally situate yourself wherever you are. I'm on the Lisjanaloni land here in Northern California, also known as Berkeley. Acknowledging the lineages that have stewarded the land and the waterways and giving thanks and gratitude to them. E maho, how wonderful. E maho is one way the Tibetans say, how wonderful, but also hallelujah. That's what I've been saying lately. It's kind of like the Christian hallelujah. It's this exclamation of joy that we have when we get to be together, practice together, rejoice in the Dharma and the benevolence of all the loving streams of wisdom that we get to swim in. So let's bring Jen and Nina back on screen. And it's such a joy to be here with you both. Where are you right now?
We're at Garrison Institute in the Hudson Valley, right in front of us is beautiful windows looking right over the Hudson River, which we consider sacred up here.
And what are you doing there?
We're here with Krishna Das. There's a weekend retreat at Garrison Institute. So we're here playing with him. And we've come here every year for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Chanting.
Yeah. So we've had a full weekend of chanting.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Nina was just chanting, and that was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am so happy that we get to chant with you. What a gift. And even though we can't be in the same room together, we're going to hear both of your voices together in a moment. And we're going to talk about this wonderful endeavor the three of us have teamed up to bring to fruition called the 21 Taras Collective, where we collected together our heart streams and our melodies that live within us and put them, or kind of like married them to the mantras of the 21 Taras. It's a vision that we all had, and we've all in our own way had some kind of inkling that this needed to happen. We'll talk more about that here, about our birth story with the 21 Taras Collective and what we're doing with it. And then I'll also guide a meditation to embody one of the 21 taras, we'll work today with the beautiful red, vibrant, magnetizing, semi-fierce tara, the fifth tara, tara Kurukulle, sometimes called Kurukulle in the Tibetan circles. So we'll get to embody her and chant to her and pray for all the welfare of all beings through her practice. So you'll also get to feel what that's like, and we'll do chanting again at the end. But now what I'd like to do is pass it over to Jen and Nina to talk about music and chanting and maybe even sing for us a bit.
So stay with us, Chandra, if this sound is working and we can all be together. In some ways, this seems so familiar because we've been doing this now for so many years.
Yes, 7 years.
7 years, Genevieve counted. She's a mathematician. So I just wanted to remind us, I saw in the Tara Mandala magazine that they just published and sent to everyone some of the photographs, from that time that we were together with Lama Tsultrim at Tara Mandala. And I was just so amazed by the beauty, first of all, of the grounds, and then hearing her story about how they selected that land and the feminine nature of the mound in the middle and, all that. And then to walk into the temple and be surrounded by these, divine feminine deities in beautiful color and gold. And then to walk in and see that not only did they have names, but they also had a mantra associated with each. And, for me, did you ever, anybody see the film, The Matrix, and you see all these numbers and letters, and lines, which is, to me, like my entire environment feels like mantra. I don't see it with my eyes, but I feel it that way with my being. And so anywhere that a sacred sound can be attached to a divine energy or a cosmic force is interesting for me, especially when it's traditional. And so that was the beauty of finding these mantras. And then you shared more about how they came about with us.
Yes, thank you for acknowledging that and situating this whole project on the place of origin, the mothership we call Tara Mandala in Southwest Colorado, founded by our wonderful teacher, Lama Tsultrim Alioni, who usually is hosting these events and is in solitary retreat right now. So that's in part why we're here with you all. And so thank you, give thanks and gratitude to Lama Tsultrim for all of her gifts and support of us in this project. Also, thanks and gratitude to Khenpo Tsewang Dungyo Rinpoche, who we've met and asked for his blessings many, many years ago. We went to his retreat center in upstate New York, Pema Samye Ling, and even Nina and I were able to go. Genevieve couldn't go to that. We were there with Carla Jackson Brewer and Lalita and some other dear sisters of ours. We did pilgrimage to see him because he is, in a kind of a playful way, I call him the OG, the original gangster is kind of slang we call for like the originator of some wonderful books and teachings on the 21 Taras within the Nyingma tradition. And along with his dear deceased brother, Kenshin Palden Sherab, they wrote a beautiful book called Tara's Enlightened Activity, which I recommend people check out. And then they also translated a commentary on the 21 Taras in the Nyingma, the elders' tradition, called The Smile of Sun and Moon. And there's an updated version with a slightly different title, which I'm not remembering in this moment. But all of those are great resources. So we thought, we need to go to him. Actually, Lama Tsultrim said, you need to go to him and ask for his blessings on this project as well as on my book. So I conferred with him many times via Zoom and phone calls about my book and the mantras. Is it okay to publish these mantras in an open source book format without empowerment? People often ask that. And he said, yes, everybody should practice Tara. She is an open source goddess, Buddhist deity. Everyone should practice her mantra. Please share. And so with that, we also told him about our music project with the 21 Taras Collective, and he rejoiced and supported us with that. So we have the sort of like the blessings of these old lineage holders that feel like they go all the way back to Buddha Shakyamuni and even before. And the Taras who arose within India around the, Tara, we think, arose in medieval India, medieval tantric, esoteric, Buddhist time around the 600s and 700s CE. But these 21 Taras became manifest in our realm, in our dimension, through the great Mahasiddha Suryagupta in India, who lived in the 11th century CE, and he revealed these through deep practice in meditation and devotion to Tara. The story goes that Buddha Shakyamuni appeared to him while he was in retreat, praying for healing because he was suffering from leprosy. He appeared to him and taught the praises to the Taras. It's called the Praises to the 21 Taras. It's a famous short tantra that is practiced and memorized in particularly Vajrayana, or Tibetan Buddhism, Himalayan Buddhism. And it's this tantra on the praises of the 21 Taras that serves as the basis for this system of the 21 Taras. But it's also said that there are infinite Taras, infinite as the stars in the sky. So 21, it's not an arbitrary number, but it's a number that actually, you could say, is like a summary. It's the cliff notes of all the Taras. And so over time, this praise, this root text called the Praises to the 21 Taras, began to inspire or almost open the portal to visions of Tara, the mother, and her manifestation as Tara, which is found both within the Hindu and the Buddhist tantric systems, by the way. But her manifestation through the portal of these 21 different manifestations or moods and enlightened activities, as praised in 21 ways, then began to be represented and experienced as different Taras. So originally they're just 21 praises to the same Tara, right? Sometimes she's fierce, sometimes she's peaceful, sometimes she's semi-fierce, joyful, aka joyful. Sometimes she's red, sometimes she's blue, sometimes she's crystal white, sometimes she's golden yellow. And so artists and sages and practitioners began to see her in these different ways and represent her creatively, artistically, through tanka paintings, through statues. So there are different lineages of their different iconographies. And the one that I focus on in my book is this Nyingma, the Dzogchen lineage of the 21 Taras iconography of Jigme Lingpa, the great sage and Tibetan yogin and consummate scholar who really brought together beautiful teachings of Longchen Rabjam, 13th century Dzogchen master, through his teachings called the Longchen Yingtig, which means the heart essence of the vast expanse. And it's a whole cycle of terma, or treasures, that were revealed by him while in a 3-year solitary retreat. He's in the 1700s, and he revealed this terma cycle of the heart essence of the vast expanse that have all different kinds of yogas and meditations, dzogchen, preliminary practices, but also a practice called the Dechen Gyalmo, the Queen of Great Bliss. And in this practice, we imagine ourselves as the white Dakini, Dechen Gyalmo, the Queen of Great Bliss. And through various stages, we manifest from our heart the different Taras. So if a fierce Tara is needed, we manifest her, or semi-fierce Tara is needed, we manifest her from our heart, and we see her in the sky in front of us, and then we do her mantra. It's a really interesting practice. And so that is the source of what we're going to share with you now, and the source of our 21 Taras collective project, the source of my book. So it's very much rooted in lineage, like Nina said, traditional lineage, and also made accessible to modern minds, Western practitioners, because the Dharma needs to adapt to stay alive, but stay rooted within tradition, so we don't lose that thread of blessings, the stream of blessings. So we're also in that right now as we speak about it, we think about it, we chant these chants, we enter into that stream of blessings, so we're not alone, and we can channel that for the benefit of all beings. And so it's not just on our shoulders, but we're actually being lifted by the wind of Tara. And so 2017 in the United States, Southwest Colorado, Tara Mandala, boom, Nina Rao, Genevieve Walker come to Tara Mandala with Krishnadas to do a fundraising concert for Tara Mandala. Krishnadas is an old friend of Lama Tsultrim, comes to Tara Mandala from time to time. They go way back, the days of India, the 70s, 60s, and so on. And so they're there, and it's really the first time I'm spending time with Nina and Genevieve, and we're walking around after their sound check. I think that's when it was. We're walking around the inner sanctum of this beautiful temple, in the Tara temple, and it's like an octagonal, big shrine room, not a square. It's like a circle. And the 21 Tara statues are lining the inner sanctum. They're about half life size, beautiful bronze and mixed metal statues. You'll see a picture of one of them in a moment. And we're walking around, and Nina and Genevieve was saying, oh my gosh, there's mantras for each Tara, because there are plaques underneath each statue with their names, their description, and then their mantra. And I said, yes, because I was working on those plaques with Lama Tsultrim and Bridget Bailey as well. And we were all creating these beautiful plaques so that they could be permanent, semi-permanent, as permanent can be in metal. And we wanted to get it just right. And we are in this process of developing those. And I said, yes. And I've had this vision I had this idea of open sourcing melodies from people all around the world. Let's open source, get people to send us proposals or samples of melodies for these different mantras. Because I'm not a composer, really. I like to sing and do kirtan, but I'm not a composer. I wasn't going to do it. And I think it was Nina, but maybe Nina and Jen, or Jen, I can't remember, said, no, we should do it. We should do it. And I thought, oh my God, right. We have this right here. And you two have experience, of course, with composing and recording and devotion and kirtan. And so we started to birth this idea of joining together to compose melodies so that we could support people in the learning and the practice of these melodies. So Nina and Jen, would you keep going a little bit with this? And we can show some pictures.
I just wanted Genevieve to share a little bit about, for me, mantra is so important, and the music. I'm not a musician. I never studied music and so on. Whereas she has grown up, learning classical music and then playing other types of violin and in other genres. But I'm wondering how you feel about connecting mantra with music and how that's helpful in your experience and for others too.
Yeah, well, it's an incredible merging in a way of two of my passions, which is music and devotion and spiritual practice. So it's a coming together of those. And I first, I grew up in the classical music world. And then when I was 19, I went to India. And that was the first time I really heard music in that way, like with devotion and practice and mantra and bhajans. And I was completely lit up by it. And it sparked a passion that's been with me since then. And a few years later, I met Krishnadas and started playing with him. And I get to play with Nina too, which is wonderful. But yeah, the coming together of mantra and music, I think, is very powerful. And something Krishnadas says is that mantra is the medicine and music is like the syrup that the medicine gets to rest in. And so in some ways, I feel like in our project, we've been making that syrup every time he says that, actually, I also think of the wisdom of Mary Poppins. Full of sugar, help the medicine go down. So yes, so we've been making medicine, but it's very meaningful to me to be able to bring these two things together. Yes.
I mean, I think there's an infinite number of melodies probably in the universe.
Mhm.
You know, anybody who's chanting something will come up with a melody, and which is essentially what happened, because we had to pause our project on some level because of the pandemic. We couldn't get together. And so that's why this arrangement seems so familiar, because we've had so many meetings over time this way online. You know, Genevieve would be on a boat somewhere in the lake in remote Canada and send us a little phone recording, say, "Oh, and this melody came to me for Taro Vasudhara, and I'm singing it to my children," or some, you know, and it came together this way. And also for Chandra, you know, she was already chanting with her Sangha. And for me, it just became a natural thing to include in the kirtans that I do with people, with the Hindu sort of mantras that come from that tradition. And then it all seemed related and interconnected. So that's how it came about over time with Dropbox.
Right through Dropbox. Yay, Dropbox. I'm wondering, since we jumped into a little bit of the origin story, it'd be fun to show people pictures, because we've been talking for a while. Are you, Pawo or Jean, could you show a few slides of these early days of us together at Tara Mandala? And,
I'm not sure if Pawo actually has them. Do you think?
We had them in the
They're in
document.
the, okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
and if that's not possible, that's okay. We can move on.
Yeah. Maybe you want to start the sadhana.
Yeah.
Why don't you do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can do that. But I thought it would be fun to hear you guys. Remember, you were going to sing a little bit of something.
Okay. Yes.
One thing why we want to sing here, because we're not set up with music and everything, and it's hard to stream it well, especially in not our home location. But the beauty of the way in which these mantras, I think, were presented is that, and Genevieve and I have done this together, without any instrumentation, you can still sing the melody. And that can be your practice.
Yes. And I think part of our intention behind all of this was to make it really accessible, the mantras. Yeah. So you can sing them anywhere, really. And of course, there's definitely importance to formal practice, but these melodies with the mantra can be sung anytime, anywhere, like right now.
So since you raised Bodhicitta for all of us, Chandra, the melody that Genevieve came up with for this particular mantra has the form. So we're using the 10-syllable Tara. Is it 10 or 9 syllables? The basic Tara mantra, Chandra?
10 syllables.
Right. So 10 syllables. And then we add specific qualities that are being invoked or praised in this Tara, or whatever we're asking for. So we'll sing this one for you, get it? And just do a couple of lines, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Om tare tu re bodhicitta swaha. 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 Om Tare Ture 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 Bodhicitta Swaha. So
It
that's
was so hard not to sing with you. We didn't because of the echo possibility, but you guys sound so amazing.
yeah, I think we might have sung it in too low a key for Genevieve.
No, it's fine.
No, you sounded good. Sounded good.
Yeah.
I was trying to find the we have these wonderful cards. So I'm looking around, I can't find my number one.
Because she's number one. She's already up there.
Is
so,
she? Oh, I'm not seeing it.
No,
Okay.
no.
There she is.
She might be.
Oh, there she is. And her mantra is the Om Tare Ture Svaha, but then the word Bodhicitta inserted before the Svaha. So I was trying to chat you all in the group, but I don't know if that was working for those who might want to sing it too.
Right. You have it in the, you should put it in the comments, Chandra. This StreamYard is a little new for us, but it's in the private chat. Yeah. Okay.
I tried. I don't know.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
Oh, Mani Padme Hum.
It's working. It's there.
Okay, there it is.
Oh, goody. Good. Okay. Yeah, we're used to Zoom. You know, StreamYard is a little different.
StreamYard's good though. So
StreamYard's good. Thank you.
Yep.
Bodhicitta. Such a joyful melody. And I think, Jen, you composed that melody, right? That was one of yours.
Yeah.
And that's the first one on our album. Of course, so the album that's coming out, Volume 1, we'll talk more about it, but just so you all know, Volume 1 is 7 melodies, 7 of the 21. It's not just the first 7, because over these last 7 years, with current events and different needs and our own heart songs, some taras were more on the forefront, more practiced, more sung, more kind of juice was moving through at certain times. So it was hard to choose which ones to put on the first volume, because we're going to do 3 volumes of 7 songs each. And so we have taras 1, 2, 3, and then we jump to tara 5, and then we jump to tara 8, and then we jump to tara 12, and then we jump to the end, tara 21. Those are the melodies that you're going to find on this first volume. And so they just sang the first tara.
Mm-hmm.
Tara Tura Vira, the swift heroine. Tara Nyurma Pamo in Tibetan, same thing, the swift heroine. And she's semi-fierce. It's interesting that the first of the 21 Tara Pantheon begins with this semi-fierce, or semi-wrathful, but I prefer fierce. She's red in color, more of a dark red, because it's semi-fierce, and the fierce ones have a bit more maroon color. And she's got that fierce Dakini fang smile, and her brows are furrowed, and atop her lotus flower is this conch shell, which is an ancient symbol in India, of course, and in a lot of cultures, but also in Buddhism. In my research, what I found is the conch shell is, if you were to, this is kind of silly, but they said that if Buddhism was to have a logo, it would have been the first logo. Why? Because it symbolizes the healing sound of the Buddha's words, the healing sound of Dharma, Buddha Dharma, the teachings. But in a broader sense, the conch shell also symbolizes calling to ceremony, calling us to practice, calling us to come together like we are right now, to practice Dharma for the benefit of all of us, all beings, and to heal. Yeah. So all of these taras have such beautiful symbolic meaning, and that's just a taste of what this tara means. Semi-fierce, it's just enough peace and just enough fierce to kind of break through delusion, to cut through our habits, and to arouse bodhicitta, because that's her main purpose, to help us all arouse bodhicitta. Thank you so much for singing that and giving us that gift of song. Now what we're going to do is switch into meditation practice, a version of the embodiment meditations that we do at Tara Mandala for the 21 Taras, and that you'll find in the book, Embodying Tara, that I wrote. And so now let's go ahead and shift gears. I'd like to invite everyone to get into a comfortable position, seated, lying, whatever you need to do to make yourself comfortable. We'll practice for about 15 minutes, and I'll guide you through the whole time. You can have your eyes closed, turn away from the screen if that feels good to you. And actually, before we do the practice, I like to introduce the mantra so that when we get to the mantra recitation, you're more at ease with it. So here it is on the screen. You can see it's a small picture, but it's a picture of the 5th Tara. I have her here as well. But they're all similar in that position. Their position is the position of royal ease, 2 legs, 2 arms. She's not in full lotus. One foot is stepping out, the right foot is stepping forward, meaning that she's available to those of us in the ocean of samsara. She's coming to help save us from drowning in the ocean of the cyclic existence of birth and rebirth, birth and death, and so on. And so that's her availability. That's her bodhisattva commitment to be available to all beings. The left leg tucked in symbolizes her stability and her complete embodiment of nirvana, of her resting in her central axis, her central channel, the bliss of samadhi, of nirvana. That her left leg tucked in symbolizes that. Her right hand is on her right knee, and that symbolizes this gesture or mudra of supreme generosity. She's ever giving love, protection, bodhicitta to all beings, no matter who they are. And then her left hand is at her heart, and the mudra of, it's a little hard to see here, I think, or my screen is small, maybe yours isn't so small, of the 3 jewels. So her thumb, and you can take this mudra in these positions too. Take your left hand and touch the thumb and the ring finger together, making like a circle with the thumb and ring finger, and that symbolizes the non-dual or the union of wisdom and compassion. Very important teaching in Buddhism. And then the other 3 fingers are fanning out upright, and that symbolizes the 3 jewels of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So this is also called the refuge mudra, or the 3 jewels mudra, because we take refuge in the Buddha, his teachings, the Dharma, and the Sangha, the community of practitioners. That's Buddhist teaching. But you can also feel that in terms of taking refuge in wisdom teachings of any tradition, like Jesus or Allah, of Muhammad, or any wisdom tradition, and their teachings, taking refuge in those. And in her 2 fingers of the thumb and the index and the ring finger is a stem of her lotus flower that grows up and blooms at her left shoulder. And atop her lotus flower is her particular symbol, which is a bow and arrow. I don't know if you can see me, but maybe I'll do a closer up thing here. Bow and arrow. Yeah. Can you see? It's kind of small. She's also semi-fierce. You can see her because they're both red and semi-fierce. You guys are doing a great job there. Team Tara Mandala, thank you, everybody. Some of this is spontaneous, so we're catching them off guard. I appreciate your willingness. And so the bow and arrow symbolize her capacity to magnetize all that is beneficial, enlightenment, abundance, healing, joy for all beings. And she's an ancient goddess, by the way, both in Hinduism and Buddhism, that was originally, Kurukulle is her name. Originally, she is the goddess who magnetizes love, kind of like Cupid, but different. Especially in the Buddhist teaching, she becomes more of like magnetizing ultimate love, bodhicitta, not partner love. And so partner love could be a part of that, though. Let's not relegate that to a lower thing. Of course, love in our world and relational field is very important. And so also the bow and arrow, last thing about that, it's an important tantric symbol. It symbolizes piercing. The arrow pierces the heart of duality. So the arrow is the symbol of non-dual wisdom, that when it shoots into the world and certain aspects of ourselves and other beings, it's not violent, it's loving, and it pierces into the heart of duality, bringing us to the experience of non-duality. So she is very important. Last thing, I choose real life people, women, embodied women, historical women, women identified, people in this world who embody the qualities of each Tara. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the two women, historical and current women, that embody Kurukulle's energy in my mind. There are infinite ones. Well, the first one is our historical yogini Machi Glabdran, who founded the lineage of Chö, the severance lineage of cutting through duality into the non-dual state, releasing clinging from fear and suffering, the ego, separate self, all of these beautiful teachings she taught us, also nature of mind teachings. She lived in the 11th century Tibet. And then fast forward to now, Lama Tsultrim Allione was recognized many, many years ago as an emanation of Machi Glabdran. And sure enough, just like Machi Glabdran did in her day, magnetizing people towards the Dharma, towards liberation, magnetizing the teachings and all that is beneficial, Lama Tsultrim, in my mind, does that too through her compassionate activity to found Tara Mandala, to share the Dharma, bring Machi's teachings into fruition, and Tara's teachings as well, enrich and uplift the enlightened feminine principle within all of us. All beings have that, as Nina said so beautifully in a recent post teaching online I heard you talking about. It's so true. So Lama Tsultrim is my current pick for Tara Kurukulle, the semi-fierce Tara goddess who magnetizes all that is beneficial. So Lama Tsultrim, maybe not, I didn't mean to say she's semi-fierce, but that the Kurukulle is semi-fierce. But we can all be semi-fierce sometimes. We can also be joyful of understanding this mood of this Tara. When we're semi-fierce, we're both peaceful and fierce, and we're holding that Shakti, that power within us, and it can be communicated and felt as joy, as bliss, as power through love. So let's embody that. Let's practice. So let's show the tile again, you guys. Thank you. This is her mantra. Om Tare Du Tare Ture Kurukulle Nrija Svaha. So you see her 10-syllable mantra of Om Tare Du Tare Ture, and then jump forward to the last word, Svaha. That's 10 syllables, and that's her root mantra. Now, each of the taras have different words right before the Svaha that highlight their particular enlightened activity. And so this tara is Kurukulle, means to Kurukulla, and there's different, I don't have time to talk about the meaning of her name, it's very interesting. And then Nrija or Nridza is the Tibetan pronunciation, means born from a lotus. So we pay, oh, come swiftly, Tara Kurukulle, born from a lotus. So this is the mantra. Repeat after me. Om Tare Du Tare Ture Kurukulle Nrija Svaha. We'll do just maybe about 5-7 minutes of practice here. Om Tare Du Tare Ture Kurukulle Nrija Svaha. Let's close our eyes and feel ourselves in our present form, the breath in our body, deep belly breaths, settling into meditative mode, quieting the mind through the breath, allowing the eyes to close, coming home to yourself. And then we'll sound the seed syllable of Tara, which is Tam, T-A-M. And as we sound it once, long and slow, you're going to imagine that you yourself arise as Tara, Turavira, meaning you're going to be a body of light, a deep red like maroon, a body of light, hollow like a balloon, with this seed syllable T-A-M in your heart center. You have the 2 legs and 2 arms, just like we discussed. Right leg stepping forward into samsara, left leg stabilized in nirvana, tucked in. Right hand on your right knee, palm open in the mudra of supreme generosity. Take this if you can, or imagine it. Left hand is at the mudra of 3 jewels at your heart, thumb and ring finger gently touching, the other 3 fingers fanning out, and you're holding the stem of the Utpala flower that rises up and blooms above your left shoulder. And on that lotus flower is a moon disk, and on the moon disk is the bow and arrow, symbolizing her magnetizing capacity for all that is good and beneficial. And this is what you are embodying. May it be so for you and all beings, this capacity to draw in, to magnetize, Wangdu in Tibetan, magnetize all that is beneficial and liberating. We'll sound Tham once, we'll become her, and then we will chant the mantra and imagine that the mantra swirls around our heart in a counterclockwise direction, and from that swirling emanates rainbow light in all directions, bringing liberation and magnetizing all that is good for all beings everywhere. Most important is to feel this. You don't need to worry about seeing all the details. Feel her. Feel the mantra swirling in your heart. Om Tare Tu Re Kurukulle Nija Svaha. Om Tare Tu Re Kurukulle Nija Svaha. That's her mantra. So now let's inhale and we'll sound Tam and become her. It's Tam out loud, long and slow. What would it feel like to be sitting on a moon disk and a lotus flower? Perhaps you'd feel weightless on the moon, a body of light, deep red luminosity, vibrating. Feel that energy of luminosity vibrating within you. What would it feel like to have that fierce, semi-fierce, joyful expression on your face? Embodying both the union of nirvana and samsara within you, and magnetizing all that is beneficial, from the mundane to the ultimate liberation of enlightenment for all beings everywhere. And we'll chant the mantra. Om Tare Tu Re Kurukulle Nija Svaha. 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 Om Tare Tu Kurukulle Nrija Svaha. Keep reciting the mantra. Imagine rainbow light swirling from your heart as you're chanting the mantra, and that rainbow light brings all that is beneficial to all beings in need everywhere. You can imagine specific beings receiving this rainbow light. You can imagine groups of people, animals, insects, sentient beings, countries, places in war, violence, famine, places in great need of protection, and all that is good. This rainbow light swirls and protects all beings everywhere and magnetizes all that is beneficial, enveloping the world like a blanket of rainbow light and beyond. Om Tare Tu Kurukulle Nrija Svaha. 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 And with one final blast of rainbow light from your heart, imagine that all of Tara Kurukulle's enlightened activity is complete. What would that feel like? Everybody has what they need and what their soul deeply desires: freedom from suffering, tasting the sweetness of their own true nature, piercing the heart of duality with the arrow of non-duality, and resting in that experience. And then imagine you as Tara Kurukulle dissolve into light and rest in awareness for a moment here. Rest in your own nature, letting the mind rest just as it is. Magnetizing is the ability to draw into you that which is already present. All those enlightened qualities that are already always perfect within you. Let that feeling settle into your depths of your soul, of your heart, into the marrow of your bones. You have the capacity to magnetize toward you that which is already present. What does that feel like? And may that be so for all beings everywhere. May their goodness bloom and wisdom dawn, compassion grow. And with that aspiration, let's bring our hands together in prayer and dedicate any positive energy of our practice for the benefit of all beings everywhere. And then we come back to our body in this moment together, having had a taste of embodiment. This is like the quick in Tara meditation. It's a simplified version of the longer embodiment sadhanas or meditations that you would find at Tara Mandala and in my book. So let's bring Genevieve and Nina back on. And let's talk. I'd love to hear you all take us further into what we're doing here and what we want to share with everybody through these taras.
Do you want to share the Tara file?
Yeah, so, we feel so grateful that Lama Tsultrim and Tara Mandala have taken us under their wings, so to speak. And I really felt that way arriving at Tara Mandala and taking just the sanctuary of the temple. And for me, mantra practice is a refuge in and of itself. We're praising, we're invoking, we're asking for all kinds of things, but just to be able to sit and chant mantra is such a blessing. And I thought, since Tara Mandala is helping us kind of bring this into the world, it might be nice for people to hear, now that we've chanted Tara Kurukulle's mantra the way that you shared it with us. Pawa Dorje, would you be able to play the track for Tara Kurukulle for us? Thank you, Paul. Perfect clip you picked for us.
I love the violin on that. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. And that's Nina singing so beautifully. She's leading us in that chant.
And we had, it was a small band, relatively speaking. It's three of us chanting, and we had Benji Wertheimer from Shantala Music. He was drumming for us and playing beautiful Esraj, which you actually don't hear on this particular chant, but he is on a couple of the others, Saraswati, and you will hear him. And those of you who know his music will know what I'm talking about. And we have Brad Stoller is playing guitar on this, I can hear. Mm-hmm. And so like this, one thing I was saying this morning with our group that's here is that, sometimes we don't have the opportunity to also chant out loud, but there's so much benefit even in just listening. And, so much of my time is spent in a car for me, and I listen to all kinds of chanting in the car and on airplanes, and when you're preparing your food, before you go to sleep, you're taking care of your children, all the places. And so the music also is helpful for that when you're kind of just trying to absorb the mantra by listening. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Yes, please. Yes, Jen.
I was just going to add that music as well. I mean, this is how I see it, that the music is the offering in a way, but it's also the path in a sense. And that through our call, in a way, we're hoping that Tara hears us and comes towards us. So, and I see music as like the carrier in a way of our devotion. We probably also all have had that experience of how music can carry emotion. We can feel emotions from music, but I think it also can convey states of consciousness, or our devotion, our practice can come through in music.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
So these chants and these melodies are all our offerings to Tara.
That's right. Yes. Yes. I love that. That's so beautiful. And I mean, I've been having health challenges over the last few years, and chanting has been a great aid for me. I actually think it's a painkiller. I honestly, I'm sure there are other people listening who have felt that. It uplifts us. It takes us out of whatever nervous system loop that can get caught through, not just physical pain, but also emotional pain or suffering or depression or anxiety or too much overthinking things. I think that we have an epidemic in this culture and our modern world, which is, I think we overthink things. I think thinking is important, but it's also good to know when to not think.
Yes.
About. It's like this rumination habit, right, you guys? And mantra literally means mind protection. And I do really think it protects us from ourselves. It protects us from that rumination that can get us into maybe not so positive mental states. So in that way, Tara Kurukulle, like all the taras, help us magnetize what's good, what's healthy, what's actually really true, and let go of or heal the parts of ourselves that get stuck in what's actually not really true. I mean,
Exactly.
suffering, right? Don't you think? I mean, suffering, sure, it exists. But the depth of the true being, which I think our culture is, our modern lifestyle with the consumerism and, it's all just, we all know what it is. It's this, we've really forgotten the beauty way.
Yes. I would also add to that, Chandra, that I think we all need a break from seeing so much, like the visual. We're all looking at screens, looking at posts, looking. And so there's something about also taking a break from that and having refuge in sound and space. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, one of the other things you do, Jen, is you're also a therapist, right? And so you probably receive a lot of, you're seeing people through their suffering and helping them. And, as a Dharma teacher, I also see that, what I'm seeing. And then Nina, you too, as a teacher and a leader and a chant artist and wisdom holder in your own stream. We all do that in our own ways. And I know a lot of people here do that too, even if it's not formal. We carry the wisdom and we share the wisdom. We're wisdom sharers. And as wisdom sharers, we also receive wisdom, of course, and that wisdom comes from our friends, our students, our mentees, people we might guide, our clients. And what I hear time and time again is people suffering because of all of this modern speed and imposition of perfection and a disconnect from our source and our community. And it's really is something that prayer and coming together, chanting together. This is why Krishnadas is so popular and Nina is so popular, and all of you guys, the work that you and other like Deva Pramal and other chant artists are really bringing that nectar to people, because coming together, singing together in the same room if possible, is so healing. And I'm experiencing that more and more as I bring chanting into my Dharma events. People at the end will say, like, I didn't even know about chanting. I'd never done it before. Now it's my new favorite thing. It helped me so much and helps with the suffering that we can experience. So, 20% of the population suffers from chronic pain. I'm learning about this because I've, had front row seat with it, with the medical trauma I've experienced through spine surgery. Oh my God, not fun. But I know it's just my turn to feel something that a lot of people have felt through life, where things don't go the way we had expected, and then we have to readjust. And mantra has been huge. And mantra is not just making sounds or devotion to a deity or singing. It's also pranayama, because we're inhaling and then we exhale with a long breath because of the chanting. And that is a way that we can also calm the nervous system, relieve pain, interrupt the looping, whether it's pain looping or mind emotion looping, and I think that people can really benefit from that understanding. It's working through us in many ways, seen and unseen. And these chants, we hope, will really help people in whatever ways people need. These taras, we have a longevity tara on this album. It's Tara 21. She bestows the gift of longevity and well-being. Yes, here she is. This is Tara Marichi. Tara Marichi. She's the 21st Tara, and she's really the closest to our white Tara that's so popular in all the different lineages. She's this white Tara, but we do have other white Taras in the 21 pantheon. And she bestows the ultimate longevity, which is the deathless state, the Buddha nature, enlightenment. So she's fabulous. She's on our album. Do one of you want to talk about the other taras we might find on our album?
Sure. One thing I just want to mention, you want to pull up the I wanted to mention just about this idea of modern day and suffering is that my understanding is just that the nature of humanity is that. And so it's just amplified because we have access. What's brought to us is the suffering around the world, amplified, and we see it. But the true suffering is what we tell ourselves about ourselves and about others, because we see ourselves separate from other beings. And the great teachers, the great saints have all said, we're all one. And finding our way back to that space where inherently we know this, and which is why we have longing, yet that path to that place is so long and winding, and we get pulled away with thoughts. We don't even know where the thoughts come from. But in the mantra practice, there's an actual magical formula that's happening. We don't know how the formula works, but we know that it works, which is through recitation, repetition. We're creating new grooves in our thought patterns. And there's actually a terminology for this, which is Nava Shabda Samskara. So with the new sounds, with sacred sounds, we're creating other grooves in our mind and purifying. We're dropping away the stuff that is an obstacle and creating challenges for us in how we view the world. Because everything we're feeling is subject to how we view what's going on. And we're born with certain samskaras. We're born to see the world in a particular way. And our job in our evolution of our soul is to change that so that we can find that ultimate place of peace and happiness within us. And the mantra helps us with that. It's a protection for the mind, but it's also the instrument for the mind. It's both things. And so each time we're dealing with something in our lives where we need something. And so this is where Tara is so important, because we know, if we look inside of ourselves, we know what we need. Sometimes we need an extra dose of courage. Sometimes we need the ability to see clearly, like, what is the wisdom in this particular moment? Chandra spoke about magnetizing what we need as well. Sometimes, so what we've done is, and over the years while we were working on this album together, as Chandra was saying, certain things were brought to the forefront. So in the start of this Lama Live just now, we actually heard a recording that I made for Tara Mandala in the early days, which was the mantra for Tara Mangal Artha, so the Tara of auspiciousness. And it was particularly because of fires were going on at that time in California and all around the place. And she's also the harmonizing Tara for climate change. And so that was the mantra that I was chanting at that time. It came to me, and that was the melody that came. On our album now, what we've done is we've got 7 mantras for 7 of the taras, and we named them based on her quality. So we've named them as Tara Thuravira for compassion, Tara Saraswati for wisdom, Tara Vasudhara for merit, for the merit from practice, and that which we offer back for everybody's well-being. Tara Kurukulle, magnetizing Tara. Tara Aparajita, which is invincibility, which I love because we all have that in us, that we don't need to be overwhelmed and overcome by the darkness. Tara Mangalartha, which is auspiciousness. And last but not least, it's Tara Marichi, which is longevity. And longevity of what? And I always like to think of us having a good, long life so that we can wish everyone else well. And it's through that connection, when we wish others well, we connect with them. We can open our compassionate heart with a wise mind, and everything comes together into that place where we're all one. So that's the way I see our offering.
Thank you.
And I wonder if, can we just share like a few minutes of Tara Marichi, where in this one, Chandra's chanting the lead. Paula Dorje, can you play that for us? And that's Genevieve.
Om Dare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromri Jasvaha
Om Tare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromrija Swaha
Om Dare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromrija Swaha
Om Tare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromrija Swaha
Om Dare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromrija Swaha
Om Tare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromrija Swaha
Om Dare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromrija Swaha
Om Tare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromrija Swaha
Om Dare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromrija Swaha
Om Tare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromrija Swaha
Om Dare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromrija Swaha
Om Tare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromrija Swaha
Om Dare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromrija Swaha
Om Tare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromrija Swaha
Om Dare Tu Re Mariche Che Bromrija Swaha
Om Tare Tu
Yeah, it brings me to tears
Me
every
too.
time I hear this, and I can see that in the chat.
Yeah.
Allison too.
The solo that Jen does on that is, that's when I cry. But it's, we would have to sit here listening for a few more minutes, but you'll have to get the album.
Yeah, hopefully you'll be able to listen to the whole thing in your homes.
Yeah, so why don't we tell them a little bit about the pre-sale while I'm crying over here.
Oh, it feels so good to share this with people. I think that's bringing tears to my eyes too. It's like we worked so hard on this for so many years, and we've just have really also taken our time to get ready to launch this. It's been ready for a while now, but the karmas were not falling into place until now. And we're so grateful to have Tara Mandala helping us bring this album to you all through this pre-sale, where you can be a part of helping us bring this into being. We did this all on our own time, of course, due to our passion, and we would have done it anyway. We funded it all ourselves, and to be just totally transparent, and we didn't even know this was going to happen, but it cost us, after all the production and the professional musicians and our own travel and being together and other costs, it cost us $21,000 to make the first album. $21,000 to make the first album. Did we mention Tina Malia?
We should do that right now.
Oh my gosh. Tina Malia you heard her playing I think that's the guitar, or a version it sounds like a mandolin to me, but I think it was a guitar, picking the guitar. She also plays and sings throughout the album and a few songs. She is an incredible artist, multi-instrumentalist, singer, and producer. It was so fun to work with her in her studio up in Nevada City here in Northern California in the Sierras. Magical place. We went up there in May a few years ago. Time flies. 2 years,
Almost 2 in May.
Almost
2 in May to record. So we stayed in Nevada City for a few days, a long weekend over Memorial Day weekend, and she midwifed us. I had never been in the studio before. It was terrifying. She helped me feel at ease. Nina and Jen have done it before. And so she helped produce it, and you'll hear her voice and her playing on that. Benji Werthmeyer is also playing, like Nina said, and Brad Stoller.
Noah's playing cello.
Say his last name again, it kind of broke out.
Hofeld. And Arjun.
And Arjun plays tabla on one of my pieces. He was so great. I couldn't find the right rhythm, and he just came in, and he plays with Krishnadas, and he's his own artist as well. But he came in and he channeled the eighth Tara. Eighth Tara is very fierce. Tara Aparajita. And he channeled her and played the tabla just right. So you'll hear that.
I think I want to mention that other than Tina being incredibly talented as a musician, she's also an incredible engineer. And she's one of the few women actually in our community of Kirtan, particularly. I don't know about the rest of the world, but I know that there is a lack of women sound engineers and producers on some level. So it was such a joy. We chose to work with her a lot for that reason.
It was a joy.
And she's a friend of ours as well. So what we've done, though, because we've all put out music at other times, is that people are interested not only in just the music. And so in this pre-sale, we're offering the music, but we're also offering other ways to enter into the practice. And you had a taste of it with Chandra's sadhana that she shared with us. So we'll have some of that as a different, I hate to call it this, but they're not rewards necessarily, but offering levels, let's just say. And so if you are able to contribute to this pre-sale at a level that's helping us kind of pay forward to recording the rest of the 14 mantras, for which we actually have melodies, and to record it at this quality so that has an enduring, lasting, carrying forward these mantras and this practice in a way that will continue. And so recording it in this way with the best quality of recording and production was important to us. And that's, when you're making an offering to your deity, you want to make sure that the apples are shined and that they're the perfect ripeness, and you've bathed and you've done all the things. So in the same way, the music is offered that way for everyone. So there's the music. We're offering also, this is another thing that happens, is that there are a lot of musicians who like to chant. And so we're offering the music is all charted out in charts, sheet music for people.
Not with this preset, but we will.
It will be offered.
It will be offered.
It will be offered.
Yes.
And what else? We have lots of things. The cards.
Yeah.
And Chandra's 21 Taras course is also offered as one of the gifts. And
the photograph that Chandra was holding up to the screen, that we were offering that also as well, so that you can use those images in your practice.
Yes. And the digital download of the album just is $21. You can begin with that.
Yeah.
And you also get a bonus track with of an unreleased instrumental piece by Noah and I. So that comes with the digital download of the album.
Yeah.
And a beautiful mantra PDF that Chandra put together with line drawings of the taras and their mantra and transliterations.
Yeah. So there's a lot in there. Go ahead.
I'm looking at our list of benefits. There's also, if you give, there are many levels you could give, like they said, starting from $21 all the way up to $21,000. And those who, Nina and Jen have already listed a lot of the benefits. Also a signed book by me embodying Tara, 21 Manifestations to Awaken Your Innate Wisdom, will be included in those earlier tiers. But the top one, like the 21,000, if people are able to give that, they get everything that's in the earlier tiers, but also a special in-person private kirtan session in the San Francisco Bay Area with Nina, Genevieve, and I, and then also executive producer credit on the album. So I know people have different capacities. Some people can't do anything, and that's fine. We want you to have this, but some people have means and want to help people and artists who, aren't rolling in the dough, and so we have invitation for people to participate in any way that you can and to feel a part of this opportunity. Fundraising can feel a little heavy sometimes, but Lama Tsogyam taught me this because she's very magnetizing, and she's created Tara Mandala from scratch without accruing any debt, by the way. Tara Mandala's never gone into debt. We've always been able to do what we wanted to do through the generosity of our funders. And the truth is that by donating, you are a part of something so special and beautiful. It's an opportunity to join your karmas with our karmas, with the karma of the Taras, and bringing that which is good into the world. And I know people want to be a part of these types of things. And so, money is energy, right? So by donating, you're a part of this energetic fruition. And we would be so grateful because we have 2 more albums to record. So that gets us up into 63,000 total. And then we've added some additional money to help us cover the costs of the gifts that we're giving to you and the promotions and what it costs to put up websites and do all the media through Tara Mandala and us. So we were asking for $70,000 total, and that is our fundraising goal. And we would love to be able to get to that within this first pre-sale. So whatever people can do, every little penny counts, and we'd just be so grateful for that. Thank you. Yeah.
So I'm feeling like we're coming towards the end of our time together.
Yeah. So what is next on our agenda? Do we want to?
Well, one thing that would be lovely.
Or talk about a different Tara.
Well, we only have
forget
left,
anything.
so maybe we can. Do you want to have time?
Maybe we could share. Do you have the Tara? There's so many beautiful ones. Maybe
So
we have a few more minutes. We could share Saraswati Tara, the second Tara, or Tara Vasudhara,
Here's what I'm thinking.
who is the third Tara, and she is about merit, like both spiritual and worldly merit and abundance. So that's a beautiful Tara to have in your life. And of course, Tara Vajra Saraswati is the Saraswati version of the 21 Taras. So she bestows wisdom and eloquence, melodious voice, expression, artistic creativity, and liberation. So,
Can you hear me, Chandra?
You have, that you could
Can you
queue up
hear
for
us?
here.
Chandra, can you hear us?
Oh,
What's happening?
can you hear us? It's the light
You
on.
can be surprised by something.
Hold on just a second.
One moment.
I can't hear you guys.
I know. Hang on. Can you hear us now?
Can you hear
We
us?
can't hear you guys. Are you having a sound issue?
Yeah, but we're okay.
Mercury retrograde, somebody's saying.
Unplug the mic.
Well, you can see in the chat where you could donate.
But they can
So
hear
that's
us.
something you could peruse in your own time and see
Chandra
what
just
feels right for you.
Hang on a second. Look at the chat. Everyone can hear us except you.
I just
Okay, so why don't you?
Okay, can you hear now? She can't hear.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Chandra. What I was thinking, since we have just a couple of minutes left, the thing that really calls to my heart so much about the Tibetan Buddhist practices is the dedication of the merit to all beings. And for that, we have the Tara Vasudhara. And we thought that we would send everybody out listening to this recording. And because this is one that Genevieve sings on. And did I get that wrong?
No, you're right.
Oh, okay. She's turning all shades of purple. So, Pawa Dorje, I'm okay to say thank you to everyone and to take leave of everyone. And we hope we'll see you again soon online or in person. And to thank Tara Mandala team and Chandra and all of you for being here together. And I'm sorry that we're having a little audio issue and Chandra can't hear us, but I hope she can feel how much we love her and she'll hear this later. So we're going to sign off and Chandra can say what she would like to say. Chandra, you go.
I trust that whatever was said was divinely inspired and beautiful. I couldn't hear a thing. But I'm learning that you can hear me, and we don't know what's going on, except that it's time to close, I guess. That's the signal I'm getting. And we're going to dedicate the merit of our time together. So grateful for all of you who have joined and who will join and listen to this in a different time. Thank you, everybody, in advance for any gift and generosity you could give us. Here is our dedication of merit. Let's say this together. If you wish, bring your hands together and heart at your heart. And really feel that any positive energy we've cultivated through this time together and throughout our whole life in countless lifetimes is pooled together and made infinite through this dedication. And we'll say this out loud, feeling that it radiates out for all beings everywhere. By this merit, may all attain omniscience. May it defeat the enemy wrongdoing from the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. From the ocean of samsara, may I free all beings. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the Tara Mandala team. You guys are beyond excellent. And thanks to everybody who's supporting this project. So much deep depth and gratitude. And so good to be with you, Nina and Genevieve. Let's maybe come back on if we don't mind. And let's all say goodbye to everybody together, if possible. Okay, thank you, everybody. I don't know what anybody's saying.
Tutari ture Mahapunye Swaha Om Tare Tutari ture Mahapunye Swaha.
Thank you. Thank you, Lopön Chandra, Nina, and Genevieve. Thank you for this very beautiful, sacred musical offering. I'm so looking forward to listening to all of the tracks and specific ones at specific moments and making that a part of my practice. For me, I know music is a really powerful ally and friend on the path. So from me, on behalf of everyone that's tuning in, thank you not only for your music, but also for your beautiful energy and wisdom. Thank you for sharing with us today. And thank you at home for your participation and support. If you would like to support the 21 Taras Collective project, you can find the link to do that in the chat now. And if you would like to deepen your knowledge of Buddhism, Module 2 of the Heart of Buddhism year-long program starts next week, March 21st, and runs through April 18th. At the heart of Tara Mandala's teachings lies the profound practice of the Mandala of the 5 wisdom dakinis, a powerful system that can transform our most challenging emotions into their corresponding wisdom energies through sound, visualization, and meditation. And you can see all upcoming events on the Tara Mandala calendar page in the chat now. You can follow Tara Mandala on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to stay up to date with our news. And join our mailing list to get updates straight to your inbox. Past episodes are stored on our YouTube channel, where you can revisit them at any time. Your engagement there is appreciated. Now, following the tradition going all the way back to the time of the Buddha, 2600 years ago, you have the opportunity to make an offering of dana to 21 Taras Collective. Dana is a Pali and Sanskrit word that means generosity. Offering dana creates an auspicious connection and is a beautiful expression of the interdependence between us. Dana directly recognizes the precious gift of the teacher and the teachings, without which one could not practice the Dharma. To offer dana, please follow the link in the chat now. And now all that remains is for me to wish you farewell, and we hope to see you at the next Lama Live. Goodbye.
Om tare tu re Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om tare tu re Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om tare tu re Mangalam Shri Mahapani Swaha. Om tare tu